Leadership is easier to recognize than it is to define. And question, who is a leader and who is a follower? A very good example of a good leader, one that knows what leadership is, can be found in the scriptures. But before I talk about him, let me give you this quick background. Something I said in an earlier video is that people in organizations, in nations, have positions. Those positions confer some level of authority on them. Now, because of the authority that they have as a result of their position within the organization or within the nation, they are able to use that authority to ask people to do things, and people do it. Now, that is not necessarily leadership. In fact, it is not leadership. It is people using their position authority to get people to carry out instructions. But this young man, if I will call him young man in the scriptures, Gideon, exemplified the portrait of a genuine leader. He practically had no position within the society. In fact, not even within his family, because he said, I am from the smallest family, I'm the smallest in my family. So you can see he didn't have any position that would give him that kind of authority to do anything. Yet, he led the children of Israel with only 300 soldiers to one of the most resounding victories that were described in the Bible. Just this illustration gives me an example of what the American general who led the Desert War said. He said, leadership is your ability to make people do things that they ordinarily believe they couldn't do. That is a true definition of leadership. And that's what Gideon did. Gideon defeated this army that everybody was afraid of and did it with only 300 men. So he achieved this seemingly simple task by leading by example and modeling the way for the people. More on modeling in another video. So don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss it. Share, like, and comment. And if you have any questions, don't forget to drop the questions. We'll be very glad in any of the videos to respond to your questions. Now, modeling the way is a very effective way of influencing followers to achieve the unthinkable. I already gave you an example of what an American general described as leadership. Now, in trying to argue that leadership goes beyond mere influence, a former president of Motorola is the equipment manufacturing company, he posited that leadership is the catalyst needed to transform talent into results. Now, his position is that any influence that does not push organizational citizens to harness their latent talent to achieve predetermined organizational result is not leadership in its true form. And that is so apt, because why are you influencing people? Are you influencing people to just sit down and do nothing? No. True leadership influences people to use their talent to achieve something either for themselves, for the organization, or for both. The leader's ability to so influence the follower is also largely determined by the commitment of the follower to the leader. If the follower is not committed to the leader can do all he wants to do, nothing. Trust me, nothing will happen. In other words, the influence of the leader on the follower is easily noticeable in the commitment of the follower to the leader. So it's commitment that goes two ways. If you like, we can describe now and say, you know what, leadership is a two-way traffic. While the leader is influencing the follower is also influencing the leader's behavior. The follower is an active, very, very active participant in the influence relationship involving the leader and other followers. Now, let me give you an example. In the home, the father in the home is the leader. But you will find that when the father influences the mother to do something, and the mother does it, by extension, sometimes without even saying anything to the children, you find the children doing the same thing that the mother has been influenced to do by the father. So it's an influence relationship. So it's a case of here, the father has influenced mother to do something. The children see mother is doing it willingly because the mother at that point is the follower and she's following father willingly. The children notice it. They just take a cue from there. If there's a need to do anything similar to that, they note, oh, daddy did it, mommy did it. Trust me, they're just going to do it. That's what leadership is. You lead it. You do not direct it. Neither do you legislate on followership. So the relationship of the follower to the leader, like I said, can be described as one of mutual engagement. The engagement is mutual. Why? Because the leader is influencing the follower and the follower is influencing the behavior of the leader. I remember somebody asked me once, why is it that a lot of leaders are very wicked? And I said to them, listen, a lot of leaders didn't start off being wicked. If you see a wicked leader, find out who the followers are. Chances are the leader has been made or turned into who he is because of the followers. Because he may want to be a good leader, want to be a compassionate leader, and he has followers that have become difficult to lead. And then begins to put all kinds of rules and regulation in place in the organization to make sure people conform, to make sure people do the right thing. And before you know it, from one simple rule to a more difficult one to even another difficult one, it gets to a point everybody begins to say, this leader is wicked or this leader is difficult. Trust me, no leader wants to make the life of their follower difficult, because if they are true leaders, in the sense of leadership as we've discussed in this video, they are indirectly shooting themselves in the foot. Because if the followers fail, trust me, the leader will fail. That's where we stop the video for today. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment. If you have comments, if you have questions, don't forget to drop them. Until we come your way again, this is Take the Mic with Felix.